Today we are smoking. I know it's been out now for the better part of a year, but one of your big highlights from this year from Aganorsa was the Arsenio.
Yes, sir.
I know we've talked about it before, but now that we actually have it here, why don't you go into a little bit of a backstory about who Arsenio was, what makes this blend so special, how integral he was to the company?
Yeah, so Eduardo Fernandez, the owner of the company, he's Cuban, which is very common. His family donated all their stuff to Castro very generously. Like a lot of people, he grew up in South Florida. That part, he's got a lot of commonality with other manufacturers, but his family was not involved in tobacco or agriculture or anything like that. So when he got into growing tobacco, he didn't have any personal experience. And so he went to Cuba in the late 90s, and he brought back a team of Cuban agronomists who had worked for Cuba Tobacco for, in some cases, half a century, and brought them to Nicaragua. And the most important of that group was this guy named Arsenio Ramos. And Arsenio Ramos, he was head of leaf processing in Pinar del Rio, Cuba, which is the best growing region of Cuba.
The most famous tobacco region, probably.
Yeah, that's why Cuban cigars are what they are. It's because of Pinar del Rio. And he was kind of retired because he was not a party member. And if you're not a party member, they kind of push you out at a certain point because they want loyal guys, regardless of qualification, at the highest levels. And so the reason he couldn't be a party member was that when you try to join, there's a big questionnaire you have to fill out. And one of the questions is, do you believe in God? And in a communist country, the correct answer is no.
No.
And so he would say yes, and they'd say, come back, thanks a lot. And so he couldn't join.
Right.
And so he was kind of retired and not doing anything in his early 60s. Eduardo convinced him to come to Nicaragua along with several others, and they started growing tobacco. And Arsenio was really responsible for developing the signature flavor Aganorsa is known for. And he spent the last 20 years of his life working for us. He passed away in 2018. And a cigar that he really loved to smoke is this blend, in this size actually. And it didn't have bands on it or anything like that. It just was a cigar. And so we were trying to come up with something to honor him, and we were trying different things. And then we found out, why don't we just use the cigar he liked to smoke?
Exactly. His private cigar.
Simple, keep it simple. And so we obviously dressed it up. His face is on the band. If you notice, he's the O in Arsenio is a smoke ring.
I always like that.
And so this is in tribute to him, and this debuted this year, and something really, really proud of. He's an incredible guy, just from a very humble stock, but was like a poet, was a writer, was like this Renaissance guy that was just an incredible person, and we wouldn't be where we are without him.